If you watch a bunch of old Eddsworld videos, you might notice something a little strange. All of the action takes place in this narrow box, while the edge of the screen has these black bars on either side. Every episode before Doing, apparently, was animated in a 4:3 aspect ratio. That's 4 units across for every 3 units down. The HD versions on Newgrounds that I like to edit with were stretched slightly to match something called Academy ratio. And while that shape is wider, episodes still have this more squared look. This used to be the shape of online video, but not only is 4:3 older than Eddsworld and all of the internet, it's about as old as film itself. The earliest movies were filmed in a 4:3 aspect ratio. Those were the proportions chosen by William Dickson when he made the very first motion picture camera for Thomas Edison. Though the frame was occasionally narrowed slightly to make room on the strip for sound information when talkies became a thing, the basic shape became industry standard around the globe. Flash forward 100 years to when online video was taking off, and almost every television set, computer monitor, and video camera in the home has a 4:3 display. That's why classic Eddsworld videos have those black bars on either side of the frame when viewed on a modern widescreen display. That's just how video looked at the time. These black bars may feel a little frustrating, like you're being shown less information, but that's a pretty misleading way of talking about aspect ratios. You aren't capturing less information just because the image doesn't fill the entirety of a display. You're just capturing different information. 4:3 is a great shape for close-ups of faces. You can comfortably fill the screen with someone's head and shoulders and still have some space for context like their surroundings. This ratio is also not so tight as to be restricting or overly boxy. You can still film a massive crowd or a conversation between two people, or just have a nice shot of the scenery. That 25 feet under the seat callback in the end was animated in widescreen, but the action can pretty comfortably fit into the original ratio. I'm honestly not sure why they didn't go for authenticity and animate the entire scene like this. This ratio is also good for high ceiling rooms and grand skyscraping architecture, as well as any natural scenery where the height is more awesome than the breadth. Take this clip from Halloween 2007. The ghost of the maniac absolutely fills the screen while the Eddsworld boys look up in horror. I love this shot so much, and I think the aspect ratio is a big part of that. You could do the scene in another format, but when the frame is this narrow, you can hardly look at anything else. Verticality in general is one of the strong suits of 4:3, and I think that's why a lot of early video games make use of verticality as much as they do. Tetris and Mario Bros. USA spring to mind. But 4:3 does have its limits. I mean, movies have always been landscape. Why not film in a shape that better captures a landscape? Starting in the 1950s and continuing up until now, most new films made for the big screen are presented in widescreen formats like 21:9 or CinemaScope. Lots of people argue that widescreen was the result of cinema's desire to compete with TV, and to an extent it was, but directors had seen potential in widescreen for decades. Most action takes place on one plane and our eyes are horizontal. Why not film in a way that matches our field of view? Sometimes you want to capture a scene's breadth. You want the wide open deserts and cities and fields without giving so much attention to the sky or ground. You want to capture the busyness of a packed room or the vast space between two people. Verticality is still possible in widescreen, of course, but its strengths lie in the horizontal. You might not even want everything to be framed comfortably. Claustrophobic spaces and close-ups on eyes are as much a strength of CinemaScope as open spaces or fitting lots of information across a greater depth. There's also no denying that this shape with the letterboxing looks cinematic. Probably because this is what cinema has been doing for so long. The unfinished Eddsworld Fan Movie is presented in 21:9 widescreen. Whether it required this aspect ratio is up to interpretation, but it certainly looks the part of something you'd see presented in a theatre. Thing is though, this aspect ratio didn't take off in the home. While film directors had embraced the wider format, TV shows and news broadcasts were still in 4:3. These two standards were just not easily compatible. So, we decided to try something in the middle. When widescreen films were given a home release, they often used to be cropped in a way that filled the screen but omitted details against the filmmaker's wishes. Otherwise, the image would have to be stretched or given massive black bars that made the picture too small for most people. Sometimes all of the above. So in 1984, Kearns H. Powers of the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers proposed 16:9 as the new standard. Mathematically speaking, 16:9 is the geometric mean of Academy ratio and CinemaScope, rounded slightly for technological reasons, meaning it can accommodate either format with black bars that aren't too intrusive or cropping that isn't too destructive. Coincidentally, it's also very similar to existing widescreen ratios like the commonly used 37:20, making TVs with this aspect ratio much better for displaying most movies. With the new standard set, TV companies were quick to adopt, and the studios were quick to adapt. Widescreen displays entered the home, and before long, almost every show was produced in widescreen. And that brings us to online video, be it Eddsworld or anybody else. I personally like 16:9 a lot because not only is it backwards compatible with most other media, it has all the benefits of both Academy and widescreen presentations. It's wide enough that landscapes can feel grand when they need to, but narrow enough that you can do close-ups without too much empty space, especially when vlogging is so synonymous with online video. And that's why Eddsworld moved from 4:3 to widescreen. We're making movies like this, we're making TV shows like this. I guess this is going to be the shape of online video forever. Well, see, here's the thing. Most people are using their smartphones as their primary entertainment device nowadays. And why hold your phone like this when you could hold it like this? Vertical video used to be hated, but now with TikTok and Snapchat and other app-first video platforms, creators are finding potential in this shape as a means of telling jokes and stories. If 4:3 is great for framing a face, vertical video is even better and perfect for filming the rest of a person. Stories are usually told with multiple people, and fitting those people onto one vertical screen can be a little tricky, but that just means that shot-reverse shot style conversations are the norm, perfect for when you've only got one actor to play all the different parts. And here's my hot take. I believe that this aspect ratio, more than any other, is the shape that best defines this new generation of filmmakers. Once upon a time, filmmaking was an elitist art form. Cameras and microphones and editing tools were expensive and unwelcoming for most newcomers, and even showing your film to people required printing a VHS or hiring out a theatre. Now though, the best camera is the one you carry with you every single day, and without spending a penny, you can download a single app that lets you film a video, easily edit that video together, and publish it to a potential audience of billions. You don't need a budget, you don't need equipment, you don't need training, you don't even need more than one person half the time. The expectation with these platforms is that anyone with the right mind and enough time can create something that will delight and inform, regardless of what qualifications they might have under their belt. Companies can and do hire people to make videos for them, but their success lies in their ability to imitate the culture we created with selfie cameras in our bedrooms. It is pure, it is real, and it belongs to us. Who'd have thought that the way we hold our telephones would alter the shape of media more than any director or standards agency? So given all of that, what is the best aspect ratio? What is the one format that filmmakers can keep on using for the rest of human existence? Well, that's a trick question. There isn't one. Aspect ratio has been determined by a lot of things, but first and foremost, it's a creative decision just like any other. Academy ratio has certainly stuck around for a long time. It's probably telling that the very first format we settled on is now an increasingly popular style choice. But why restrict filmmakers when they can make shots like this, or even this? IMAX resolution is the current bleeding edge of technology, and that's somewhere between 4:3 and 16:9. Widescreen has never had one rigid definition, and just because everyone's screen is the same shape doesn't stop you from filming something a little different. Actually, not everyone's screen is the same. There's a good chance you're watching this on a phone that's significantly wider than 16:9, or even a laptop that's a little bit taller. And that's not even mentioning VR, which has the potential to display all sorts of aspect ratios and even forego the edge of a display entirely. Technology will change, standards and norms will change, and each generation of filmmakers will try something new with what they're given. I don't know what the shape of the internet will take in 5 or 10 or 100 years, but I know it won't look anything like this.